What's up, you sluts? It's 5:50 on a Thursday afternoon and I'm just waking up. It's the life of a nurse, living on night shift. Still better than being Canadian, though, or just being Sam Monroe in general. You Canadian slut. Alrighty, first up we got Neil Diamond's Little Beats. That's me against Scrappy Doo, Verk. Just looking at the matchup here, I see Kaepernick against Seattle. That's going to be pretty tough. I think that's really his only bad matchup this week. Brady and Gronk against the Jets. That could be tough. And I got Ted Ginn and Terrence Williams as my starting wide receivers. Yep. And Darren McFadden at flex. So if Gary Barnidge continues to be lights out for him this season, Julio Jones is probably going to have a big game as usual. I'm going with Ferk on this one. I can't trust my team this season. All right, moving on. We have Catherine Slob on my Knopf, Sugar Sham Finley against Implode on the Commode. Bryce. Love the name, by the way. Looking at this matchup, Bryce's team is nowhere near where it was last season, unfortunately for him. Jimmy Graham hasn't really panned out. T.Y. Hilton's just been okay because Luck's just been okay so far this season. Keenan Allen's all right. And then Sean's his team's bulletproof so far, barring any injury. He's got depth too. So, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Sean is probably going to make the finals this year. And he's probably going to win. No, definitely going to win this matchup. Next up, we have Sammy Sevens, the Neutrons, against Mr. James McGahee, Plan B. Sammy coming off a big upset last week. His team has been pretty solid. He's got Randall Cobb and the Broncos D on bye this week. James, unfortunately, Drew Brees isn't getting it done for him this season. Edelman's probably going to be blanketed by Revis all game. Julius Thomas, we'll see what happens there. Maybe he'll score a touchdown. Adrian Peterson could have a big game against Detroit. Let's see, Sammy. Sharkhandrick West still in the lineup. I don't know. I got James on this one. I think Sam's going to have a strong season, though, this year. I kind of think he's going to make the playoffs. Maybe you heard it here first. I don't know. But this week, I think James is going to beat you. Alrighty, next up we have Healthy Scratch, Brian Santoro against, oh weird, I'm bad again, David. David is not looking like he's having the best matchup this week. He's got a lot of players on bye. Unfortunately, a lot of impact players. Matt Forte, which I think has been probably 50% of his points so far this season. Alshon Jeffries on bye as well, who's been injured most of the season. Ronnie Hillman's on bye, leaving him with a lineup of a lot of replacements. Yeah, that's not looking good. Santoro, oh man. Todd Gurley's coming into form. Tavon Austin's been a pleasant little surprise for you. Andrew Luck has a good matchup against New Orleans, and he was looking pretty decent last week. If his team produces, I think Santoro's going to run away with it this week. Sorry, David. Stay positive, Dave. Next up, we have the matchup of the GIFs. Risky Whiskey Dick, Brian Bartolucci against Shady Acres Retirement Home, Patrick Orr. This, to me, is actually looking like a pretty good matchup for both of them. I'm really liking some of the matchups for each individual player here. Not a lot of weak ones around the board. Bart, he's got Russell Wilson probably going to go off against San Francisco. DeMarco's playing better. Dion, if he's healthy, should be decent against the Jets, hopefully. Steve Smith, DeAndre's having a big year. Olsen's having a big year. Amari Cooper is a good choice in the draft. Pat, Matt Ryan playing Tennessee. The Falcons have been on fire, fortunately for you. Le'Veon Bell is going to have a big game against Kansas City. Ingram's going to go off against Indy. Allen Robinson, Decker, we'll see. Antonio Gates is back. Frank Gore should be okay. I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go with Bart just because I like his matchups a little better. I think that they're actually... Bart's team is much stronger than his record shows at 1-5. Pat, his team's pretty solid. He's got AJ Green on bye though, so we'll see what happens here. Last up, we have Morning Woodhead Gonzo against Famous Jameis, the Thunder from Down Under, Mr. Zoomass himself, Wally. We have Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Teddy Bridgewater in a clash of the Titans. I'm going to go with an upset alert on this one. Famous Jameis has a lot of good matchups. No, I'm just kidding, Wally, you're going to lose. And that's that.